so many women, we know that job security, it's not like it was back in the day. You know, my father retired from Chrysler. He worked 33 years at Chrysler, and he got a pension from there. Well, I don't believe there are many or any companies still doing that. So, in terms of financial security, we really have to take that into our own hands. And we know, the statistics show that women outlive their husbands. And so that's even more reason why we have to take control of where we want our finances to be through our lifetime. And so,
Hi, I'm LaWanna Bradford, and welcome to another edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk. Thank you for joining us on E360 TV. And I'm excited because tonight we have an individual who is a former corporate professional. Also, she has a passion for reaching out and helping individuals to expand to their best and highest selves. And the reason why this is so important at this appointed time, we know that women have been hit harder than ever before since coming out of the pandemic. See, the pandemic caused us to go a little bit backwards when it came to our entrepreneurial journey. And now we're struggling even more. And on top of that, we have the added addition of women exiting, not by choice, from corporate America in this lane of trying to figure out, what do I do next? How do I still move forward? How do I expand my life, improve the well-being for my family, to build hope and legacy for the next generation? So today I have none other than Coach Cyndi Greene, who will be joining us. She is an inspirational speaker, transformational leader, educator, and she's an award-winning author. She has a method to help women break through when it comes to three key factors: your health, your relationships, and your finances. And she believes that we can all be empowered through words of faith and words of encouragement. And we will be right back so that I can introduce you to none other than Coach Cyndi Greene. Hey, Coach Cyndi, how's it going?
great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. I know your schedule's been busy, so thank you for saying yes to Business and Financial Raw Talk.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to this. I've been waiting. Yay.
Yes. Well, today we're going to unpackage three keys to success. And we're going to talk about what it means as an entrepreneur, maybe even as an individual, your identity, showing up in your truth and your authenticity. We're going to talk about building strong, what it means to build a strong foundation, because we know we don't want to build on sand. We know what happens in that scenario. And then lastly, we want to be able to manage expectations so that we are exceeding what customers, clients, stakeholder relationships, or maybe just people in our inner circle see and feel from us, right?
Yes.
So I want to ask you just a little bit about your origin story, because I know this is a passion of yours, and we've talked off camera. But if you could share with our audience, what brought you to this point in time, and why is it so important for you to help to create this unique slant when it comes to women empowerment?
Thank you. Thank you so much for asking. So, my origin story actually starts in my early years. Um, I went through some challenges as a child that caused me to turn to drugs um, my senior year in high school. And that started because I didn't understand my identity. I didn't know who I was. I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And I wanted to fit in with a crowd that wasn't the crowd that would be best for me. So I got introduced to drugs at a very young age. And I actually stayed in that line for almost 15 years. I went from recreational use to the whole point of not being able to function without it, meaning I was using 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I held a corporate job. I was a functional drug addict. But I didn't even know or accept that that was what I was until one day I found myself on the floor and I was licking that floor trying to find cocaine. And I did that for about 5, 8 hours. And in a moment, I came up myself and realized what I was doing. And I even asked God to take my life because I finally accepted what I was. And that was the breakthrough for me because when I went to work that next week, I got fired. And leaving the metro station, holding my little girl's hand, I said, that's it. I'm not living this life no more. I'm not doing no more drugs. And from that moment to this moment right now has been 34 years. And I want to show others that even when you're at your lowest point, there's always a glimmer of hope. There's always a glimmer. And if you just take that small glimmer of hope, that's enough to pull you out of the pit. And so that is my origin of where I started and why this is so passionate for me.
Thank you, Coach Cyndi, for being so transparent and sharing that. And there are a lot, your story isn't the lone story, right? There's a lot of individuals who are currently in that situation, whether it was through exposure, like you said, recreational use, and then it becomes something more, to pain management, opioid addiction. I mean, it is an epidemic, and individuals get stuck, and you don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to just share a little bit of my story with you. I suffered migraines since I was 15. And at that point, and I'm 61 now, at that point, they were doing, I mean, just all kinds of tests. I had beta blocker injections in my head. Just you name it,
Wow.
they were testing me on it.
Yeah.
Well, what I didn't realize, and I know now, that the body will start to respond, right?
Yeah.
For whatever it's looking for, right? It will create this sense of dependency. And
Yes.
so with me, my migraines became more frequent. I was always going to the emergency room. And it was to the point that I started to realize what cocktail of meds to tell the physicians to give me
Wow.
so that I could immediately get out of that pain, because the pain was, if anyone's had migraines, I mean, the ones that literally cripple you, you cannot function.
Yeah.
It's you just want the pain to go away.
Yeah.
Now laws, the pain clinics and all those things that existed then, no more. You cannot just randomly prescribe based upon whatever a patient says. Oh, I want A, B, C, and D. And the doctor says, sure. But you go back 20, 30 years ago, that's what I did. And I remember just when I went to my last time I went to the emergency room, I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. And the doctor came in and he looked at my records. He goes, I see you have these. And he's like, are you on any preventative? I'm like, yep, they're not working. And I told him I need A, B, C, and D. I'm giving him the exact dosage that I need. He looked at me, Coach Cyndi, and he said, he used these words. I was enraged. He said, you're a junkie.
Ooh.
I said, excuse me? No, I'm not. I've got migraines. He said, you are addicted to opioids. I'm like, no, no way. These are prescribed. No way. Not me. That's impossible. And that, like you said, you have those, epiphany moments, those
Yeah.
revelating moments. I was like, oh no. And just through prayer and trusting God, I went
Yeah.
cold turkey. And so I share that just to tell the listening audience, don't look at one scenario and say, oh, well, that's not me. I wasn't involved with certain people, or I wasn't a recreational user. I
Mhm.
wasn't. I was a person who was plagued with genetics and migraines
Yeah.
and was doing everything to fight the pain so that I could function,
Mhm.
until I realized I had a habit.
Mm.
And this
That.
is actually, so everybody's going to be like, what, LaWanna? This is the first time I've ever publicly shared that, but I just felt led because of where the world is.
Yes.
And we need to get out of the seat of judgment
Yes.
and walk in the seat of grace.
Yes. Because, our children, our younger generation, they need to hear that, they need to hear that, yes, I was a corporate drug addict. That's what I was, you know. I paid my bills on time. I paid the daycare. I never had my electric cut off, you know,
Right.
but I
Yeah,
got
you were you
high.
were you were functioning. And sometimes when I think about media and just how the narrative is depicted,
Mm-hmm.
especially within certain communities, you have an image of what
Yes.
that looks like, right? It's like you
Yeah.
you see someone, out there with needles in their arms, or whatever your idea of that is.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No, it's the girl next door, you know. She's driving a Porsche, she's driving a nice car. She lives in, a nice neighborhood. But behind those closed doors, she's doing some stuff.
Yeah.
That was me.
Well, thanks for sharing that and for allowing me to steal a little bit of your stage to bring bring my story in.
Yeah.
But let's go now. Now that you left corporate America,
Hmm.
how did you get to this point? How did you decide, I think I want to go down this entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah. So I worked as an accountant in private industry. And, when you work in accounting, you get to see everything. You see the financials, you see the payroll. And I got bumped with that glass ceiling and also that good old boy network, watching them bring in the male and seeing how the female, the discrepancy in the salary, doing the same job. And, that didn't add up for me because I love numbers. And that number just didn't add for me. And I couldn't play the game because I believe in values and integrity and honesty. And I couldn't play the game that they wanted you to play in order to move up the corporate ladder. I just was not going to sacrifice my true self in order to get a position. And so someone introduced me actually to network marketing. And it was so amazing because every year when it was time to get a review on the job, every year I heard the same thing. You need to take more initiative. You need to do more. Let's look at this and we'll come back to this next year and see how it looks. Well, my first few months in network marketing, not only did I make more after 5 o'clock p.m. than sitting at the desk, but I also earned the use of a free car. And I ended up earning 7 of those cars. And when I earned that first car, I started adding up again. I said, this is not making sense. You told me I don't take initiative, but yet I just want a free car. If that's not initiative, I don't know what initiative is. And so that's when I really discovered who I was. That's when my identity started, because I realized the corporate job was trying to put me in a box and tell me what my identity was. They said I could only earn this amount. They said I can only do this. They said we're not going to pay you what we pay our male counterparts. Um, but then when I started working for myself, I realized I can earn whatever Cyndi decides Cyndi wants to earn. I can grow and create and learn and bless people and, live the life I want to live. And so I tell you, when you let the cat out the bag, she's not going back in there.
I love that. We'll be back in just a moment because I want to talk a little bit more about what you said. You said through that, you discovered your identity. We'll be right back. Okay, we're talking about 3 keys to success. We're here with Coach Cyndi Greene, and she shared her origin story, and now we've got into the point where she realized, you know what, there are other options out there. I don't have to be a victim of the corporate gotcha. I can create my own lane. I can do my own thing. I can set my own pay. In fact, there is no ceiling, right? I can work in such a way that a car is gifted to me. I can earn more than I ever realized possible. But you said through that, you uncovered your identity. Can you help us to understand what that meant for you?
Yes. So when I shared the story about my getting set free from drug addiction, it was when I cried out to the Lord and I asked him to take my life. But instead of him taking my life, he delivered me from the addiction. And so I actually asked my husband, hey, ask me to go to church anymore. And I went back to church and I rededicated my life to Christ. And it was at that moment that I started to understand who I was, who I truly was. And so working in corporate America, I realized it was not allowing me to be the person that God created me to be. Because in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, he tells us who we are. And I never understood it. I never understood. But because we are made in his image and he's given us everything that we need that pertains to life and godliness, he told us to go and create. And that is the purpose we are here for. My purpose is not to be subservient on a corporate job that will not allow me to operate in my talent and my gifts that God gave me. He told me to go create and multiply. Now, a lot of people think that means, having children. No, it means more than that. He gave us a mind and the ability to imagine and to dream. And so when we do that, we are operating in the way that he created us. And that creation comes forth and we come up with ideas, goals, plans, inventions, and we start to expand and we realize that you can do anything you put your mind to, anything that you desire and you're willing to put the work in. And so I discovered that when I was sitting at that desk and I won that first car, I discovered that I can create and grow and prosper outside of corporate America.
Well, I love that what you were saying, and um, this is a business show, business and financial raw talk. But I always tell people we are not one dimensional, right?
Mm-hmm.
There, we are spirit beings having a human experience,
Yes.
and whether you are a person of faith or not, I think most people realize that there is this ability, right? There's this, whether we want to believe we're self-made or not, in our ability, there is everything that we're experiencing was created. It was imagined first.
Yes.
Someone saw it, someone spoke it, and then
Yes.
it is. From the chair you're sitting on to the
Yes.
car you're driving,
Exactly.
right? And how much more empowering is it when we can sit and reinvent ourselves?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
Nothing like it, man.
So
Yeah.
I want to ask you, I'm going to be a little controversial because this is
Okay.
raw talk.
All right.
I know people are thinking, oh my God, did she just bring up the MLM, the network marketing, the direct sales? Oh my, what are we doing? Well, first
Okay.
of all money is made from the movement of what? Goods and services.
That
It's
is
built
correct.
on different models.
Yes.
Network marketing, direct sales, binary marketing, whatever you want to classify it as,
Yes.
is a business model, right? But
Yes.
people see it as something negative, something less than, but they stay on the struggle bus in corporate,
Mm.
happy with the salary that someone told me I can get, with the raise I may or may not get,
Hello.
right? With being told how much vacation I can take and how
Yep.
much
That's
sick
all
leave
you
I
get.
can take. And don't let me have a baby.
Don't do that.
You got 6 weeks. You better bring your behind back to work.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we look at an opportunity as negative because
Mm.
we're blinded to what could be. So can you talk a little bit about that to individuals? Because right now, and I want to speak specifically to African Americans and then just to women. Let me do the inverse. Women overall, we're being hit, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show.
Yes.
Um, but African American women in the last 4 months, 350,000 went from corporate to the unemployed ranks, not by choice.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that and how we can, if we are resistant, right? The greatest thing can come to us, but we're so resistant. It's not wrapped in the bow that we want it to be in.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see it and it
Yeah.
passes us by.
Yes. And that's so sad. That's so unfortunate. But what I would have to say if I were talking to those 300,000 women plus, I would say, first of all, you got to be open because for as little as less than $100, you can start a business. Where else can you go and start a business? Now, my background is in corporate. I was an accountant. At one point, I had a tax business. And one of the things I shared with a lot of corporate people say, okay, you think this is not a business, right? Well, can you write off your cell phone? Can you write off the mileage it took you to get to work today? How about that lunch you're eating right now? Can you write that off? Did you know by just signing up with a network marketing company, that's an immediate over $3,000 tax refund in April? And then I just tell them I can write off a portion of my electric bill, my gas bill, my phone bill, even my dog. Why? Because my dog protects my house, which has the products of my business. So that's my, what do you call
Your
it?
security guard.
My security, yes. And she barks, so she does her job very well. But no, all jokes aside, sometimes when you're starting your first business, you don't want to do it alone. And one of the blessings of being in network marketing is you have a pathway and you have a group, a community of people who've gone before you, and they got their hand behind them as if we were running on the track. They got the baton and they're passing that baton. But guess what? You're both holding the baton and they're pulling you up with them. When I won that first car, it was because one of the ladies ahead of me, powerful lady, a lot of people know her, Gloria Mayfield Banks. Um, she said, "Hey, Cyndi, you can win that car in 90 days." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yes." She said, "If you do this, this, and this, you'll have that car." And because she told me exactly what to do, I got that car in 90 days, just like she said. I don't know where else you can go and start a business. If I were to go and get a brick and mortar, no one's going to help to show me exactly what to do to get that business to 100,000. I'm going to have to figure that out because it's only my business. But when you come in network marketing, you have a whole community of people that's going to take you step by step. So if you're new coming from corporate America and you've never ran a business before, this is the best possibility of your getting the success you want because everything has already been laid out for you. All you have to do is take the step.
People don't realize how many major brands are tied to network marketing. Again, it's a way to another model to move
Yeah.
goods and services. And if I, as a big brand, let's say BMW, let's say Michelin tires, and those are true brands that are linked to network marketing
Mhm.
company.
Mhm.
If I can lower my advertising and marketing dollars by going through this avenue, what does
Mhm.
that in turn result in? Increased profit margin, right?
Exactly.
It's all about the bottom line. And
It
I think, and I'd like to toss this to you, Cyndi, just to talk to women, especially.
Mhm.
You and I were blessed because we happen to be in the finance space. You're an accountant. I was a financial analyst, still am, also in the mortgage business. But
Mhm.
many women do not have solid financial literacy. They
Yes.
don't like talking about finances.
Yes.
And we need to be very actively engaged in our own bottom line,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to
Definitely.
turn that over to you. Just what would you say to that? Because that's very important if we're looking at our current security and building sustainable income and or wealth for ourselves as we get older or for the next generation.
Yes. So, you know, so many women, we know that job security, it's not like it was back in the day. My father retired from Chrysler. He worked 33 years at Chrysler and he got a pension from there. Well, I don't believe there are many or any companies still doing that. So, in terms of financial security, we really have to take that into our own hands. And we know, the statistics show that women outlive their husbands. And so that's even more reason why we have to take control of where we want our finances to be through our lifetime. And so, another reason, with network marketing, you can learn how to build that financial security while you're learning how to understand profit and loss and revenue streams and all the different things so that you can put in place the systems that you need to not only grow your revenue while you're in your working years, but also being able to set aside for your retirement.
Yeah,
Mm.
I love that. My you and I spoke earlier, but my father passed away a year ago yesterday.
Oh, I'm so
And
sorry for your loss.
thank you. And so he and mom had been married 69 years, just like your father. My dad
Mhm,
was on the military side, so 30 years.
mhm.
They're called the greatest generation because just where they were in life. I mean, it was the perfect time, right? You
Yeah,
could stay forever and ever, have a
right.
pension, have the
Yeah.
security, still have the quality of life that you want. And he allowed my mom to, and I am using the word allow because again, my dad was born in 1930. So
Mhm.
it's not being, I'm not saying it in a debasing way. That was just the
Right,
way life was then. But he
right.
allowed my mom to manage the finances.
Mhm,
But what she was doing was paying the bills, making
mhm,
sure things were paid on time.
mhm,
But the fiduciary part of the finances,
mhm,
dad handled. And
mhm.
so when he passed, she went in a state of panic. Oh my gosh, I don't know what all this stuff means. I'm like, Mom, I'm good. We're good. Dad had walked me through everything, years
Yeah,
ago. I understand it. She goes, how do you know this stuff? And I had to remind her, well, I'm in finance.
yeah.
And he knew who to share this information with so that
Right.
you're fine. You're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Oh,
Because I'm like, Mom, yeah, it's more than just, paying these bills on time.
right.
Right? We've got even though the house is paid off, you got to make sure those taxes are paid.
Definitely.
Yeah, your medical, right? All of that.
Yes,
And
all of
so
it.
with I might want to ask you this question. Within the network marketing arena, like you said, in corporate, most pensions are gone. If
Yes,
any do exist, maybe people have been grandfathered in.
right.
And we know the 401k was, we're not going to get into that story, but it was built
Yeah,
for a reason.
right.
Those that are wealthy do not have 401ks.
Exactly.
So, what is it within the network marketing arena that's there to help people build the finances rather than other than, you're doing well and you're getting your commissions or your sales, but is there a way that people can actually create enough so that they can retire in the classic sense of retirement?
Definitely. I forgot to mention, the statistics have shown that there are more women making six figures in six figures and above than any other in corporate America. They actually have more women making that. And so some of the network marketing companies, for example, I know Mary Kay, they do have a retirement plan, and they receive a good percentage of what they've earned through the years of working, and they get that retirement for 15 years after they have retired. So the network marketing companies are now coming around, and they're offering different things that they can use for their retirement. And then if the company you're with doesn't have a retirement plan, now that you can get, instead of getting a 401, you can get a self-directed, um, what is it? IRA or SEP. And they're teaching how to direct those funds and investing in things, whether it's real estate or even cryptocurrency now. And now they're even allowing you to get gold and silver in your portfolio. So there are other ways you can actually grow, that retirement, even after the years you've been in with network marketing. So yeah, they've come a long way since the 70s and the 80s.
We are here with Coach Cyndi Greene, and we are talking about three keys to success: knowing yourself, building a strong foundation, which we're just finishing. Again, that foundation of how are you going to create sustainable, reliable income that you can control rather than being controlled.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk about now, how do you exceed expectations always, being that customer facing, customer centric. But before we do that, we're going to do a quick break, and we will be back in just a moment with Coach Cyndi.
It's a fantastic opportunity.
The quality of the product that Sean puts together is top notch.
Helps people to connect. It's an experience.
You're going to get way more out of it than you expected.
Value.
The value is just
Information with manifestation. That's the leadership tour.
He does teach people how to become great speakers.
Being attached to him has grown my speaking business already. Don't wait, just do it.
Let's talk about always exceeding.
Mhm.
Why is that so important to you in these three keys, and how does that tie either very strongly or loosely to this upcoming summit?
Oh, thank you for asking. Yes. So I truly believe the more you give, the more it comes back. That is a foundational law principle that God put in place. You know, when you plant a seed in the ground, say it's an apple seed, and when that tree grows up, it doesn't just give you one seed, one apple. It gives you hundreds and years of apples. And so what you plant, what you give to others, it comes back in a multitude to yourself. So when you're growing your business, always have the mindset of what can I do? What can I give to this customer that they will have a better experience than what they thought they were going to get? Because when you give more, less, just think about it. Have you ever gotten a gift in the mail, or you went to an event and they just showered you with so much more than you thought you were going to get? How did that make you feel? It makes you feel special. It makes you feel like you were thought about. Someone put extra care to make sure you got what you needed. Well, when that happens, don't you know, you'll always think of that person. Every time you look at that gift that they gave you, or they helped you grow your business, you're going to think about that person. Every time you see their name, you're going to remember how they made you feel. See, they may not remember what you do, but they remember how you make them feel. And so you want to exceed everyone's expectation by giving. The more you give, the more it comes back to you.
I love what you said just now, but then the analogy you gave of the apple seed. And when you were talking, I used to be a Girl Scout, and when we were on our camping trips, one of the songs that we would sing, and I'm not going to sing for you, so don't worry, audience, but the words were, "The Lord is good to me, and so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and the rain and the apple seed. The Lord is good to me." And I remember asking, well, why the apple seed? That sounds so weird and insignificant. But because in the seed is a blueprint of a tree.
Yes.
And look at what the tree can bear. And it signifies sowing, reaping, and harvest, right? It's the whole cycle, the whole evolution of you plant and the seed gives up of itself, right?
Yes. Abundance
From a little tiny seed. And just imagine, so I'd like you to talk to this. We have individuals who they're like, I hear you, Coach Cyndi, but you just don't understand. I don't have a lot. I'm trying to start my business, and you're telling me I need to give. And, why don't I just wait and give once I have a lot to give? What would you say to that person?
We only have this moment. Tomorrow's not promised. And one thing I know, because I'm a faith coach. And God says, if you would take one step out on faith, He will do the rest. You think about the woman with the middle mite, the little one coin.
One little.
And she put it into the offering. She gave. And Jesus said, out of everyone there, she gave the most. So even if you only have a little bit, just take one step. That one step could be just deciding, I'm going to start my business. The next step, I'm going to name my business. The next step, I'm going to make a poster, a business card. So you can just take the first step. And what happens when you take that first step, the next idea comes in and it says, hey, Cyndi, you can do this. And then I'll go do that. And then the next thing you know, someone's calling you on the phone and say, hey, you know what? I just put a check in the mail to you. I just sent you $50. Cash App. Wow. What should I do with the 50? Then the idea comes and it'll tell you what to do with the 50. And then that 50 turns to 100. And then the 100 turns into 200. And then the 200 turns into 400. And it all started because you took that very first step and said, I'm going to start my business. Something happens when you commit. When you make that first commitment, I'm going to start my business. That's when the business starts.
I love that. You just start with the first step, right?
Yes.
And don't worry about the next one. Just start with the first one.
Yes.
And I'm going to see if I can find something that aligns with just what you said. And then we're going to unpackage this summit before we run out of time. Here we go.
I love that. That's beautiful.
This has been amazing. I cannot believe we are already out of time.
Oh, I thank you so much. I love this. I love what you're doing. I love how you're reaching and helping so many of God's people. And I just wish blessings upon you and everyone who watches your show.
Thank you. And before we go off, we're going to take one little break. And I want Coach Cyndi to think of a final word to leave with our listening audience. We'll be back in just a moment.
Business and Financial Raw Talk, a no-holds-barred forum for leaders and innovators with award-winning business strategist and financial analyst, LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group. With Raw Talk, we are empowering women to rise and succeed in business and finances, and improve the world for the next generation. Get ready to get raw and real. Live each Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on e360tv.com.
All right, Coach Cyndi, I'll let you take it away.
I want to say to you, as you're hearing my voice right now, God has a plan for you. And you feel it in your heart right now. You know that there is something more you're supposed to be doing right now. And it's not by accident that you are here on this show with us today. And I want you to know that now is the time. Don't put off for tomorrow. You must do it now, because this transfer that is coming, it can only come to those who are ready. Are you ready? I'm praying for you that you will be ready, because God has already have it for you, and he's just waiting for you to say yes. Say yes.
Thank you so much, Coach Cyndi. We appreciate you. Coach Cyndi, it's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And to our listening audience, thank you for joining us again for another edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk. We look forward to seeing you next week. And just remember, in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. Be safe, be well. Bye for now.